happens when I take my ADHD meds every day and they work pretty well. I have this kind of uncracking and unseizing that happens, and this kind of easing off of my joints and my mobility and things, because I'm actually really hypermobile and bendy and stretchy, and and that really is not the fun thing it might sound like a lot of the time, because if you're symptomatically hypermobile, then you overextend your joints a lot without meaning to, without realizing you are, and that can lead to inflammation and pain and stiffness and a bit of a lashback later on that comes, because you often don't realize you've overdone it at the time, and then later on you kind of seize up, especially as your meds are easing out for the day. Anyway, the picture that you saw there at the start, see, this is the entire problem, I think, because if you look at that screenshot, my mate Logan, focused on infinity, is one of the wisest folk I know on the interwebs. I have gleaned, and I still haven't gotten back and had a proper deep dive of all the stuff that I can, even like for free, cherry pick off of what's there, what they've offered there for us all, let alone gotten to the point where I'm financially secure or stable enough yet, or even supported enough yet to be able to subscribe and sign into all these Patreons and buy into readings and stuff that I really want, from like Kellyanne Maddox and Isha the activist witch, and I want to dive more into what the critical thinking witches are up to, and there's so many folk I'm really interested in what they're doing across the board with loads of different frameworks and processes. And Victoria, is it Victoria Folkheart as well? Really cool stuff that I want to look more into. I could be here all day. I could be here all day. But yeah, if you look at that screenshot, that's the entire problem, I think, that's indicative of why we have to be more conscious and discerning over where we place our attention, and not just allow ourselves to be mindlessly fed down routes of self-soothing and self-fulfilling AI and entertainment constantly that's designed to distract rather than inform, that kind of thing. Because you can't have both. You can have both. I really seek out people that have both, because I also identify with people who are really celebrity obsessed and recognize the whole fangirl thing, and somebody who is neurodivergent and who has dallianced with aspects, especially when I was younger, of like celebrity worship, or now that I look back though, I don't think it ever was celebrity worship for me. I don't think I was ever that way kind of wired, like, to worship, to adore needlessly. Looking back now, I think I had dalliances with maybe limerence and things, which is something I don't know a huge amount about yet, but I definitely in recent years have looked into, and looked back at periods of my life where I think, I think that might fall under the category of limerence, and that doesn't scare me to look into that. I'm curious about it and where that ties into all my stuff and where it really comes from, or if it is even that, maybe not, who knows. A lot of the time I am just playing with concepts and insights and trying not to be too militant with myself about what that could mean, might mean, should mean, did mean. It oftentimes, when I have done that, I've been wrong anyway, and I've had to backtrack and take another look at things. So yeah, to the point, back to the bloody point. Side quest Sally here again. To the point, yeah, that screenshot is everything that's wrong, isn't it though? Because if you look at the viewer counts on those And that's just my shorts. I have longer form videos that I've been posting recently that might be worth going and having a look at if you just want to know a bit more. If you're also a curious person that thinks maybe you don't have all the parts yet, and you're the kind of person that doesn't want to jump to conclusions, I have longer form videos that might interest you. Anyway, yeah, the viewer counts. The ones of my face where I'm quite consciously playing with confidence and, consciously using my ability to play with my appearance on better days when I'm not hanging out my arse and inflamed and tired and fatigued and hormonal. And I'm definitely hormonal right now. So not much of that today. But yeah, no, I have no problems with admitting that I know fine that there is some worth in me utilising the power that being brought up within patriarchy has awarded my white femme presenting, on my better days, probably fit more of what our mainstream culture would say is attractive, or certainly passing for attractive, especially for a woman of my age. How dare I? How dare I be a confident bish at my age? And I am on certain days, and most of the time now on a core level, my confidence is returning to me, just in relation to knowing myself more, being okay with myself, making peace with myself more, allowing that to inform how I then move through the world, interact with others, how I interact with who I interact with, what I'll allow myself to kind of, look into and not look into, and in quest of further info, further wisdom, further knowledge, all of that stuff. Yeah, the viewer counts are invariably higher on all the ones where the thumbnail is me, using my aesthetic privilege as a white woman who is, in some ways, afforded some power there. They still attract way more than the ones of Logan, who is way wiser and, endless wealth for me to keep leveling up and to keep, meeting myself authentically and challenging myself on some of the programming that, it was never mine to own. I was just fed it from day one, from the culture and the society that we live in and the things we platform, like fucking celebrities and entertainment in the way that we do, where it's like not laced with any realism or personal responsibility. It's just, if you happen to be one of the more privileged groups amongst us, the white, cis white, male, female, gender role presenting, all of that stuff, the people that get first in line all the time, unfairly, if you happen to be them, then you are afforded a certain amount of privilege. I really don't like to associate myself with the concept of whiteness these days. It's so limiting and it honestly prevents me from connecting with anything out with that properly, really. So not for me, thanks. You can be like super proud of that if you like, but I don't see what there is to be, so proud about when it comes just down to the colour of our skin. Parts of our culture, our real culture, not what we've been fed entertainment-wise, but the culture that has sustained and remained within us and our families and in our communities and in our interests and in our, land and our folklore and all that stuff. Oh yeah, I'm interested in all that, love that stuff. That I'm very proud of that culture. I'm very proud of our Scottish cultural identity and heritage, because, you know, across the board, until more recently, we were really known to just be a real decent, welcoming, tolerant, multicultural, melting pot, inquisitive people who like to have a good time and had a wicked sense of humour. Okay, not to everyone's tastes, and you know, that's fine, that's what culture's about. But you know, when we travelled, we were always welcomed in other countries and in other cultures because we were inquisitive and friendly and jovial with our with our obnoxious humour and our propensity to overstimulate and over-medicate and check out a bit rather than look at our collective issues. But we'll get to all that, you know. Again, these are things that are just enveloped in part of our culture. It's not about shaming, it's not about it's just about knowing we don't have to attach to things permanently forever if they don't actually represent us anymore in a positive way on the world stage, and it's turning us into, you know, complicit, going along with really fash crap everywhere. You know, that's not Scottish, that's not Scotland's cultural identity at all. You know, I've got a video actually on my YouTube that on, I think it's the playlist with like the books and the little whirlwind, the tornado and the meditator maybe. It's just about further info. It's about, you know, hey, look at this might, you know, give you a different perspective, or this might tie into something I think is maybe what you usually look into, but maybe this is a different perspective to look at it from, or, you know, that kind of thing. There's a video on there that taps into what Celtic heritage actually is, and the real actual history of how we come about, you know, not this ridiculous fucking fascist supremacist, there was always this one kind of person who was always like, no, that's just not accurate. Sorry, I don't know where you've learned that. And to be honest, even our fucking institutionalised education does a very good job of leading us up the fucking garden path quite a bit. You know, it has its own fucking versions of skewed narratives and areas where it likes to preference and highlight and areas it likes to avoid, and in service of keeping us all comfortable to our complicity, you know. Anyway, I digress. There's a video in there that talks about that I thought was really cool, that I've recently watched myself, and I think could help people expand their mind a little bit, or at least send you down a different route of consideration before you jump to conclusions and think you know everything, to the point where you're confident enough to be shouting on loudspeakers in streets outside strangers' houses about things you actually you don't really know what you're, it's just not going to help. That's not it. So yeah, the issue there is Logan, who I was trying to platform there on my stories there, the first one I think it is a wealth, and really that it's not about saying, hey, don't enjoy the folklore and the thirst traps and the funsies, because we need that. We need, like I say, we need the whimsy in order to navigate these times while still holding on to, you know, a shred of our decency and humanity and shared understandings and commonalities with each other. And also further down, things like my mate Dahlia, I was platforming there, and the really important stuff that she's doing, and the fucking incredibly, you know, inhumane, avoidable, preventable, we could stop it today conditions that they are exposed to over there in Palestine. And that's got even less views. And, you know, Dahlia is obviously, is Arab presenting, you would assume, by the, is it hijab, the head garb, where I'm not always great with the terminology, but that's fine, I can say that, and Dahlia will tell me. She'll tell me if I've got the right word there. Hijab, is that right, girlfriend? you know, where are the views for Dahlia? So it's like we need to take the night and day, the rough and smooth, you know, the light and the shade. So we have the funsies and we have the folklore and we have the, you know, diving into our cultural, ancestral heritage in a way that doesn't divide us from each other and doesn't set us apart on pedestals that are better than or more deserving than or more worthy than or more important than. You know, it just gives us a level platform of understanding that we all are, you know, different parts to this mechanism. You know, we're all little tendrils of the mycelium here. And it's all necessary in different ways if we look after them and know how to tend them and don't discard and decide who deserves more this and less of that and who's more worthy of this and that based on nonsense, based on just rubbish. We know that now. So yeah, come and enjoy the funsies and the folklore, because I really enjoy making it actually, and I'm really enjoying now admitting that I have that slight extrovert, come on, let's get real. I have a massive extrovert explosion here or there. And I love it, I really enjoy it, and it allows me to express things that would otherwise just remain rattling around inside of me, wondering if it's really me or not, if I really could or not. So I just let it out now. And I try my best not to fuck things up or, you know, upset the wrong people doing that. And sometimes I do. And just tell me though, like if you run away, I never know, and I'm gonna run after you because that's just how I am. I'm inquisitive, and I don't like to be represented by stonewalling because, well, I've explained that in one of my longer form videos, so I'm not getting into that. But yeah, come for the funsies, come for the folklore, which is interlaced with our real culture and our real stories, especially mine. And you know, parts of it is really, if you had caught my earlier stuff on my canned Insta, you would have you're maybe still following on from an earlier theme there. But I'm always still going with that. It's not like there's no definitive end and start point where you have to jump in or can't jump in. It's a ever evolving story, my folklore, and the folks that are slowly but surely, and at one point really fast and quite expansively becoming woven into that and involved and part of that. I just think that's a much cooler way for us to do this than vilifying people and things we don't understand before we've played with it. And yeah, anyway, so come for all the goodies, come for the folklore, come and join in. It's not meant to be a thing. This is the thing that I'm slowly but surely learning, and I'm sure about now about confidence is something to be shared, not hoarded, not kept inside and constantly doubted or, you know, shielded because you worry what it will make other people think of you or what you're trying to say about them when you're not. You're just trying to be yourself and express and, you know, be who you are and carve out some space for yourself. This is the thing I've learned about confidence. It is something to be shared, and when you do that, it's like an endless well, really. It pulls the right people to you. You know, it pulls the right people to you. It draws the right things to you, I think. It's something to be shared, and it's an endless well, I feel. Confidence, when it's hoarded, and kept inside and to yourself and doubted and suspected and, you know, festers a wee bit, I think. Then it becomes self-serving and egoic and a little bit, you know, untrustworthy. And I don't know, there's a different video I'll do about confidence to do with my increasing understanding about that. But I don't think there's anything wrong with, you know, showing and expressing if you're the kind of person that benefits from that and feels like you get something out of it. And I do, because I quite happily like to dalliance with my ego and the fact that I don't think it's a good or a bad thing. It's a part, again, of being human, being egoic. And at times it will serve you and it will protect you. It's just having that discernment over choosing, can you choose when it's a tool to utilize and express yourself, and when it's, just being used to not listen, hear, or understand anyone else's perspective. You know what I mean? All that stuff. That's a whole other video at some point. I'll get round to it. But yeah, that's what I've learned about confidence. When you don't hoard it to yourself, it doesn't fester and it doesn't become this thing that kind of turns into, I don't even want to vilify it, because there's nothing to vilify. It's just an unserving purpose of your ego, as opposed to using it consciously and strategically and expressively to, as a tool, as something in your skill set that you can use, So enjoy all that stuff, because I definitely enjoy now incorporating that part. And I think if I wasn't doing that, or wasn't able to do that, I wouldn't be able to handle the other side. I would just be in Doomsville all the time, which completely removes my ability to communicate effectively, I think. So I need to have that there too, for real pragmatic, real reasons. But also I enjoy it because I am a little bit egoic and I like playing with things like that, and I'm confident enough to admit that about myself. And when I do, it seems to, at least serve a purpose more than what I was doing before, which was just screaming into the void because I was just empathically overwhelmed to the nth degree all the time. And only that, there wasn't enough light and shade there. So, yeah, come for the funsies, come for the folklore, come for the confidence. Come for me utilizing those tools of growing up in a image obsessed, patriarchal lensed world as a woman. Come for me utilizing that for the right causes now, consciously. But please also remember that that's funsies and that's me and that's my individual experience. And yeah, it can be compelling at times, but I do it in service of being able to dive into the heavier stuff further afield, and how we are, collectively involved in all of that, and really need to stop waiting for some, arm or branch or entity of the hierarchy to come and save us all from that, because we had all those mechanisms in place and they haven't worked, and they weren't working years ago if you'd seen my Insta stuff, and I was panicking about it. So yeah, it's all insert all the funsies and all the huzzas and all the me dragging my personal stuff in, because I think our personal stories and how we relate to all of it is really key. I do. Is all in service of, go check out what Dahlia's doing and saying, go listen to what Logan's saying as well, and these other people that I think are real expansive thinkers that are great at zooming back further and looking at the overall elephant rather than just the left butt cheek. You know what I mean? Oh, did you notice I broke my wedding finger nail? That's weird. I've never broken that one before. I always break this one. Always break my right power fingernail. Always. But this one, never. This is a new one. I kind of like it though, but I'm gonna fix it because, my nails serve more than a purpose of just the aesthetics. And a lot of witches and people who do energy work will probably have a similar experience of adorning and dressing their hands in certain ways to assist in their embodiment work and the things that they do ritualistically. But it also really serves a mundane purpose for me as a neurodivergent, which is, I can be really clumsy at times and a bit rushy the way I go about things, and a bit you know, especially just now, I used to have things in place when I was younger. I think I had kind of coping mechanisms and structures and very rigid routines in place that kind of helped a lot with that. But at this point in my life, with the perimenopause and, you know, the late neurodivergent diagnosis and titrating and unmasking, and my personal life being an absolute fucking dumpster fire, and me just, you know, would be willfully fucking oblivious to that for the longest time, for many reasons, which is another video we'll get into at some point. Yeah, these serve a real practical purpose too, in that they slow me down. Seriously, I intend to try and take care of them because, well, you know, to get them done costs a lot, and in between it's a lot of effort for me trying to upkeep them because I don't have the money to get them done that often. So, you know, I have to kind of do a lot myself. I used to be I'm a qualified nail tech, by the way, amongst many other things. Jack of all trades, ADHD or black sheep, man. That's, you know, it's what we are. Skimmers, tippers. And then if you add in the autism there, you got some real lifelong, strong, like special interests that you become a bit of a master at, but also, you know, in between all that, interlaced with all of that. So these, to me, I consider a necessity. Seriously, they really do make me a lot more intentional about my movements and the things I do. So I break less shit, which is good because I'm a magpie and I don't have money. And I really treasure a lot of my things. A lot of, you know, I'm an animist, so my things aren't just things, are they? So when I break them or somebody else breaks them, it's a much bigger deal to me than just a thing that's broken. And it's not because I'm some capitalist that really, you know, just over worships things, trinkets. It's not that. It's that I'm an animist and my things are more than things to me. So when I break them, it's a nightmare. And also, I would hurt myself quite a lot just being really clumsy and you know, all over the place. So these serve a really important purpose to me, to the point where I told my nail tech recently I would rather, like, I think at this point I'd rather have my nails and do without food. And I am back to a point now where I'm really enjoying my food again, at least at the second half, well, tail end of the day. Second half of the day, actually. So half the day. Now that I'm back on an older version of meds, actually, I've been on and I've dalliance with and done really well with at various points before, I seem to be doing really well with again right now. Which leads me to believe that my hormones are, you know, really running the show and far more involved in my peaks and troughs of moods and emotions and ability to, you know, temper those and direct them at the right places, people, things. I think I could really blame a fucking hell of a lot on hormones at this point, because yeah, if that's the case and this dose feels really good again, at least for you know, half the day, then, and I'm sleeping and eating again really well, then yeah, it just seems to be the only thing that can be coming in and out of all this and just pulling the rug out from under me again is the hormones, I think. And also personal life stuff that really knocks you. And Christ, if you've got all of that coinciding, help me, deliver me. Anyway, that's enough yapping, but please enjoy the funsies, enjoy the folklore, enjoy my confidence, my burgeoning confidence, and me try to share that with you, because I think that's the important part, not hoarding it to ourselves and letting it make us feel superior to other people, but actually just letting it embolden us to go out there and perfectly enter social situations and conversations that we'll probably fuck up numerous times. But we have to try, because otherwise, you know, we're just stuck, aren't we, here hiding all that goodness that's in amongst all the rough attempts, you know. So yeah, check out Dahlia, check out Logan, check out the people they're trying to highlight, you know, let these branches lead you, let this web kind of, you know, if you're getting good, solid, plain speak sounding, heartened advice from somewhere that isn't fucking AI or somebody that sounds like they're trying to demonize one group of people while elevating themselves, and I'm not talking about, you know, radical feminists and your misandry and stuff, because that exists in response to an overstep, remember, it's not the same thing. It doesn't exist without patriarchy and misogyny, you know. check out Abby the Witch on YouTube. She has tons of stuff that she's talking about there, and I saw yesterday that she was at her wit's end and tearing her beautiful head out over all this stuff again, because folk are just not listening, and they're choosing not to hear the sense in it, because it also goes with having to look at an uncomfortable, truth within themselves. Well, hello, we've all had to do that. Everybody who gets to a place of managing to see somebody else's perspective or shift perspective in any way, and that doesn't mean you have to change your perspective as such, unless it's a really shit fascist supremacist one. It just means that you might manage to widen yours in ways that allow you to connect more with parts of theirs, that then your commonality kind of overrides the narrative, and your will to collaborate and fix shit together overall overrides that hateful, fearful narrative, So don't be scared to talk to different people. I mean, I'm not saying if they're being arseholes to you, but somebody isn't being an arsehole to you necessarily because they're making you aware of a hole in your awareness, a blind spot in your complicity to something. Or, let's be honest, a willful want to not look at it because, oh my God, that then opens up a whole can of worms. But it doesn't. It doesn't have to, because essentially we all are just threads, It's just a web. We're just weaving a web, and we all have a thread. And it's about finding what that thread is and where you're more effective as that thread. And that doesn't mean that you have to be good, nice, compliant. That doesn't mean that. It just means where are you most effective as yourself, that doesn't erode you, that doesn't expect you to remove yourself, your opinions, your feelings from the situation. Because honestly, any institution, any belief system, any dogma, any faith, any social groups, any people that expect you to do that, we got to be questioning what the agenda underlying there is, like really at the root of it, where it's really coming from and what that's all about, and how we maybe helped seed that in the first place and then keep perpetuating it, And maybe it's not just one overall, bad dude that we can conveniently go, it was you, because we all know that they're the dumbass figureheads, like your fucking orange pig, and oh God. Your little Rishis and your Stormers and whoever the fuck the next one is, the new one is, because we all know it's just different fucking masks of the same shit show. It's wings of the same bird, Anybody that asks you to remove your human, curiosity, desire, want to be involved in the things that affect your life and not to have any responsibility around that, and that you shouldn't worry about that because you just take it easy and worry about this over here. Like, your life is so much worse over this way. Anything that asks you to remove having a feeling, an opinion, an input, no matter which sect of society you come from, because we all have to. It doesn't mean we let fucking idiots run rampant with microphones shouting outside folks' houses and getting all rage baity, and riling up the other fucking villagers. But we do have to listen to at least look at the areas of our society and our communities where there's just constant aggravation, problems, issues that lead to societal unrest and people judging each other and fighting rather than collaborating and helping and lifting each other up if they're further up, Well, there's a problem recurring in these areas for a reason, and we all know it's poverty and classism and, the unnecessary fucking class systems that we all buy into because we think if we're not always scrambling to get to the top, we'll be the ones at the bottom, not realising that, well, if we just didn't have a class system and nobody at the bottom, then nobody would be at fear of being at the bottom. We would all just be going, right, well, we know when shit hits the fan, if my health takes a nosedive, if whatever purpose I have chosen in this life, not job for capitalism, but with whatever, affinity I have or which way I've went, that I can contribute to my society as best I can without depleting the shit out of myself and erasing myself or fucking desire to want to be here at all, yeah, whatever ways I can do that, I'll do that. And I know that if that doesn't work out or there's issues, well, we've got a great healthcare system, an actual national healthcare system that is in service of us and has not been, you know, essentially fucking privatized off every other way anyway, in every way that matters. That nobody who should have a voice does anymore. Nobody that should be listened to is being listened to anymore. You know, it doesn't matter what you call it. If it's not operating as that, it's not that anymore, is it? Um, yeah. Where's I going? Side quest again, but I think you know what I'm saying. Yeah, just good old plain speak as usual. Anyway, that's enough. I shall leave it there for now. But yeah, nobody has to do everything. We just have to start platforming and champion the good plain speak and not the cognitive dissonance that celeb worship and, you know, Hollywood mainstream media, Epstein class, fucking hierarchy, patriarchy, institutionalized white, you know, Christianity, institutionalized Christianity and all that stuff. All that. Anyway, I'm definitely side questing now. I need to go and get a drink.